We have owned our Swift Basecamp 2 for 2 years now. During that time, we have been enjoying one continuous adventure from the planning to the implementing. From a standing start as complete newbies, we have since pitched at a scattering of incredible locations. From the mountains, the coastlines, and the rolling countryside. From the journey this far, we now understand our preferences amongst the multitude of choice from the touring park network in the UK. Let's discuss those preferences in this vlog.
So, 2 years have gone by since we bought this base camp, and we've been very fortunate to be able to use it continuously all year round for the time that we've owned it. And in that time, we've stayed at a lot of campsites, quite a lot of variety, and we now sort of understand and have learned some lessons about what we like and what we don't like at campsites, what sort of pitches we prefer and what we try and avoid. And by sort of an overall process of elimination, we tend to find the ideal places to suit the both of us, or myself on my own when I'm with my dog, and depending also on the activities we want to do when we're there. And I will share some of that insight with you in this vlog. So first up is pitch type. So of course there are two different styles of pitches. There is a fully serviced pitch, which means that you've got a water supply to your aqua roll, and you've also got a grey drain so that you don't need to do the jobs of filling your water up and emptying your grey water tank. And I tend to look for those in particular when my wife is joining me on the trips that we're going on. It's just less work for me, and it means that she can live as normally as she can within this caravan. The other pitch, of course, is then when you get electric hookup only, and that means that you then have to go backwards and forwards to a tap to fill up your water, and the same with the grey drain to empty your grey water tank. So I don't mind an electric hookup only, specifically when I'm hiking with the dog, because you can get some great campsites, and I'm happy to make that sacrifice. But when the wife is with me, generally I'm always looking for a fully serviced pitch. The next consideration is pitch type. So you can either have a grass pitch and you can have a hard standing pitch. We avoid grass pitches purely because we've got a Cocker Spaniel, and if there's wet weather and the grass pitch gets a bit flooded, all that dirt's going to soak into her paws and it's going to be all in the caravan. So I do avoid grass pitches. I always look for a hard standing pitch. When it comes to the hard standing pitch, generally any gravel type is fine, but occasionally, and particularly in Wales, you'll get sites that will use Welsh slate. Now I like that, it's quite patriotic, and Welsh slate is the best slate in the world. It's Welsh slate roofed the world. The problem with slate as a base for a caravan is it's quite fragile, and it starts to break down and break down and break down, and then it gets into little bits and it just gets everywhere. So for example, I stayed at a beautiful campsite in Snowdonia called Pac Dadwyn in Llanrwst, very near to Llyn Gerionedd and Llyn Crafiant, two famous llynns in Snowdonia. Great for hiking. It's a beautiful campsite, but I wouldn't stay there again because they had that slate hard standing pitch, and it just got absolutely everywhere. It was in the dog's paws, it was in my shoes, it was all over the floor, and it can be quite abrasive. So always look for hard standing, but unfortunately when looking for campsites in Wales, I will avoid slate pitches. When it comes to finding a campsite, there are three options available to us. There's the Caravan and Motorhome Club, and their network of sites, and we all remember. There is the certified locations, of which there are 2,500, which you need to be a member of the Caravan and Motorhome Club to access, and I'll come on to those shortly. And then of course there's the private network. So if we start with the Caravan and Motorhome Club first. Now this might sound controversial, but the Caravan and Motorhome Club network of sites are actually now my last port of call. When we first bought the Basecamp, it was my first port of call, but now it's my last port of call. Before I get into the reasons for that, I just want to speak up for their network, because they've got a fantastic network of sites. I mean, superb, and we've stayed at some real gems. So I talk about if I give a couple of examples. The first one would be up on the west coast of Scotland, north of Oban, is the North Daig site. We stayed there. We had a stunning pitch overlooking the ocean. There was a shale beach, and in the distance you could see the Isle of Mull. It was actually on the cycle track up to Castle Stalker. Now Castle Stalker is a fantastic Scottish castle, not quite as famous as Eilean Donald Castle, but no less iconic, especially if you look at it at the right angle with the lochs and mountains. Superb castle. And then also from there we were able to get a ferry from Oban. It's only about 6 miles from Oban. Get a ferry over to the Isle of Mull, and then we visited some stunning beaches and Tobermory, which is famed for its colourful waterfront. And you know, we had a fantastic time. We'd returned to the base camp, and then we had those beautiful views out the window. So that was a great campsite. Another one that springs to mind would be the Chatsworth House estate in the Peak District. So the touring park itself is in the old kitchen garden. So there was a huge garden, walled garden, and they've converted that into a touring park. And what I really liked about it was you got like this key, and you went through this secret door through the wall, and then you entered the Chatsworth estate with obviously the Chatsworth mansion in the background. And that just took me back to my childhood of reading, you know, The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, and going through past the coats and into Narnia. I just loved it there. Very, very busy site, difficult to get a booking, but well worth a visit if you're in the Peak District area.
My most recent visit to a club site was Hawes in the Yorkshire Dales. Surrounded with natural beauty as far as the eye can see, it was a fantastic place to stay. I paid £27 per night for an electric hookup only hard standing pitch, which was good value for its location and pristine presentation.
So there's nothing wrong with the sites, and there is something for everybody. But for me, there's a couple of reasons why I now book them. You know, they're my lowest priority. The first one is the allocation of pitches.
The check-in process at Caravan and Motorhome Club sites requires visitors to drive around the park and find a suitable vacant pitch. Although this works for the vast majority of visitors, I personally perceive this to be stressful, particularly at peak times when several units are undertaking the process at the same time. This is because I am still a relative newcomer and have not yet mastered manoeuvring in tight spaces, although I do practice reversing as often as I can. The Caravan and Motorhome Club sites have a smaller availability of fully serviced pitches across the network versus the independents. It is these two elements combined which is the reason my searches for touring pitches are not prioritised towards Caravan and Motorhome Club sites.
So next up are the certified locations. So there are 2,500 approximately certified locations across the UK. And for those that don't know, they are generally private landowners that sort of allocate some of their land. Maybe a farm has got a spare paddock, and they allocate that to a caravan park. And providing they meet some minimum criteria, and that normally is chemical toilet disposal and fresh water tap as a minimum, the Caravan and Motorhome Club can issue a licence for up to 5 pitches. So, and there is a great variety across the network, from very basic ones like I've just explained there, to some that have got hard standing, fully serviced toilet, showers, all singing, all dancing. And I really like them, and they cost between about £18 to £25 ish per night. And I've stayed at some good certified locations. But what's the lesson that I've learned? So one of the key lessons I've learned from these is this.
Earlier this year, we stayed at the Hillcroft CL near Tenby. This CL, which is adjacent to the owner's home, is a multi-year award winner and is absolutely stunning. The grounds are pristine and the lawns are perfect. The owner works tirelessly all day, every day to maintain it, and the fruits of his labour are everywhere you look. Furthermore, and unique for a CL, there is also a small shower block which is kept spotless throughout the day. We really enjoyed our time at the Hillcroft CL. However, with the owners present and busy on site every day, the CL felt rather intimate for us. As a comparison, I recently stayed at the Gwrgoch Farm CL on Holy Island off the Isle of Anglesey. This CL, with breathtaking views across the Irish Sea, is located in a paddock, and the adjacent farmhouse appeared to have been converted to holiday rentals. During my time there, I felt a stronger sense of privacy, providing a more personal and exclusive experience, closer to that of wild camping. And that's what I'll be looking for from a CL moving forwards.
So finally is the independent network of touring parks, of which there are hundreds across the UK. I tend to prefer booking these, and they're my first port of call, and the reason for that is because one is, of course, you're supporting an independent business, you're supporting a family business normally. The second bit is 9 times out of 10 you get allocated a pitch when you check in, and you just go straight to your pitch. It just takes all the stress away. Third is, I've certainly found, I've got numerous examples of where private sites have been more accommodating to specific needs at any particular time. And then finally, private sites generally tend to have more service pitches, which are great when the wife and I are out, as I've already explained. So private sites, my first port of call, then it's the certified location network, and then as a final port of call, it's the Caravan Motorhome Club network.
The touring park network certainly does offer something for everyone. The preferences we have discovered, which make our adventures comfortable, will differentiate across the vast community, and this is the beauty of it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure sometime very soon.